So in the morning, we have explored the science of meditation, the science of breathing. We've understood it, right? I know a lot of people are beginners. Few people have already started, but they're not consistent. But guys, this is a journey. It's not like an achievement. We are not getting any prize in this. Don't make it like studies or career that I have to reach at this point in meditation and it's over. I am great. It's not like that. It's a journey. You have to enjoy the process. देवों के देव महादेव भी आज भी मेडिटेशन कर रहे हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं करेंगे, right? So right now we all had meals and it is plant based. What is the importance of plant based meal during a spiritual journey? Definitely we take energy during meditation, right? What kind of energy we are taking? We are taking cosmic energy. It's directly we are taking it. But the food that we intake is also important. Why is it important? Because the food we consume plays a major role in maintaining the body, because our body is a temple. It's not a graveyard, right? We have to give food that is made for us and that is good for us, that will manage our body, that will balance our energies. So today we have a speaker, we have an entrepreneur with us. Let's invite Mr. Krishna Vikas. He is the founder of Weekend Cafe Vegan Foods Private Limited. He is the director at one-of-a-kind vegan company that seeks to cater to people that are looking to transition from an animal product dominant diet to one that is free from it. So he believes that spirituality and plant-based living are completely interconnected. So he also teaches yoga. He's a certified yoga teacher. We are honored to have him with us today. I request Mr. Vikas to come on to the dais. And I request Vikas to tell the audience how the plant-based diet has helped you in your spiritual journey.
Namaste, everybody. My name is Krishna Vikas, and spirituality has always been a very, very important part in my life from the time I can recall. But how has plant-based food helped that? I found that out when yoga entered my life. So actually, let me take you back and let me tell you a story. In 2019, that was the first time I had like a sudden realization. So I used to eat chicken, I used to eat all kinds of non-vegetarian products, eggs, everything that I could think of, because I was into bodybuilding back then. And suddenly, in 2019, I had like a sudden realization. There was chicken on my plate. My mom made chicken for me, and there was chicken on my plate. I used to have about 200 to 250 grams of chicken every day, till 2019. And in 2019, on my plate, there was about 250 grams of chicken. And after that realization, I had a realization just the day before, and I was not understanding what was happening in my life. But the moment I saw the chicken in my plate, I'm like, wait, this is dead. Then I asked my mom, Chachipindi, enduku tintunnam manam. And she looked at me like, "Picholaga maarthunnam, like, why are you talking like this? Because you have been eating this from the past 25 years, whatever it is." And then it didn't make sense. I'm like, why is my mom talking like this? Like, I couldn't understand, because so the moment you have like a realization, you suddenly kind of cannot identify yourself with your previous self. Like till then, so till 2019, say, let me take it like approximately a date, January 18th, say it happened. 19th, I stopped eating meat or non-vegetarian products. Till January 18th, I knew myself as a certain person, like the identity. It doesn't mean that you suddenly have like, enlightenment and you see light and everything. It's actually a journey, like she was saying, like meditation is a journey. Like spiritual realization or spiritual journey is also a journey, but it's a journey back to yourself. So you start off somewhere. I started off with this, with plant-based food. So then I later on realized when yoga entered my life, that in yamas, so in Ashtanga yoga, which is 8 limbs of yoga, this yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharan, dhyan, samadhi. In yamas, one of the first yamas is ahimsa, which is kindness or compassion towards not just human beings, but also all life in this planet. That's when I understood that. So this I understood 2.5 years later when I founded the cafe. Actually, 1.5 years later. So in the beginning, I was not understanding why was I quitting non-vegetarian food, why was I getting into this path, I was not understanding. I got off social media, I removed Instagram, I removed Facebook, I removed all these things. I did not want to associate myself with anything that I was till then, till January 18th. Because 19th I stopped eating and everything started fading away after 18th. I was stepping into like a new self. But that's a very hard thing if anyone must have experienced this personally. You suddenly have a spiritual realization. You start expecting everybody around you, wanting them to behave a certain way like you like, or you want them to be and everything. I went through that phase as well. But then later on realized that, okay, it's just me and just me on this journey. That's when I wanted to convert whatever I was feeling, that energy, whatever I was going through, into something. I wanted to create something from that. Because there was no point in talking to people about it because I was just wasting my time. I was just wasting energy. Why would you want to convince people who are not even ready to listen? So it's like suddenly you're sleeping amongst like 10 people in a room. You wake up and you want everybody else to wake up. It doesn't work like that. They want to sleep. So you let them sleep. So you wake up first and you try to create something out of that instead of trying to make noise constantly. They would want to wake up. They want to wake up. They need to have that insight that, okay, I want to wake up too. So that's what happened. And in 2020, June, that's when the Weekend Cafe began. And the whole point of starting the cafe was very simple. There was no purpose attached to it. There was no purpose. It was nothing like, oh, let me create a change. Nothing. Being very honest, I just liked cafes. I used to like going to cafes. I started a cafe. That's it. Nothing else, to be very honest. But later on, as I started getting deeper into it, like 6 months or 8 months down the lane, I realized that what I've gotten myself into, it's not a small thing. It's very hard. It's very hard to start something from the scratch and even do it. Like even if you get into like your family business or whatever it is, if you've ever done anything you start off, it's very hard to create something from the scratch. And creating something might be easier than to sustain. Once you create something, to be able to manage or sustain it is much more harder because it's not just money. Money is like secondary over here. You need to constantly ask yourself, Induk pichodu asalu enduk start chesa, why did you even start? Like what were you even thinking when you started this? So that's when I realized that, okay, people, that's when it took me back to January 18th when I started telling people, okay, why are you not changing? Why are you not doing this? Then I realized that, okay, if I'm feeling all these things, then I have to create some change for people to be able to notice whatever I'm trying to talk about, whatever I'm trying to live about, whatever it is. So that's what made me stick to it because I wanted to quit many times when I started off in 2020, the cafe or whatever it is. I just wanted to quit. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. It's very hard. It's getting very difficult to manage and all of these things. But the only thing that kept me going is because there are animals dying out there. People's lives right now, if you're on Instagram or wherever, you must be seeing a lot of these reels and people talking about all these things. They keep showing reels, how things are made. Like literally the quality of the ingredients that they're using and everything, it's pathetic. It's so bad. Now that is one extent, and that's why you're getting things for such less of a price, like Lays, chips, or whatever you're eating, right? It's so cheap. There is a reason why it's so cheap, because the quality is so bad. It might not even be real potato. Right now, we might be seeing videos where paneer is not even real. That people are putting some solution on it and saying that this is not even real paneer. It's adulterated or whatever it is. So we are in a situation where even paneer is not real. Earlier, at least it was chicken. Earlier, it was non-vegetarian food. Now even paneer is not real. So we are going into a place where you question everything. Like what is real and what is unreal. So it makes whatever I started doing more tangible. Like I want to continue this path because people are starting to look at plant-based food with a completely different lens. Like vegan diets or vegan food with a completely different lens. Because all this while people said, oh, vegetarian food is this, vegetarian food is that. But even your paneer also is adulterated. It's factory made. It's like rubber. It's so bad. What is it doing once it's going into your body? So it was not like a one-shot thing where I'm like, okay, I'm on this path. Let me pursue this. I'll create a change. Everything will be done. It doesn't work like that. It takes a long time to be able to create change even. So As times are passing by, it's making it more challenging, but at the same time it's more rewarding also, because even if like one person is having the food and they like it or whatever, and they're observing what it is doing to their body, they're going to go and tell at least two or three people or whatever it is. So that's how change spreads, is what I have understood over a period of time. Now, coming to how spirituality is connected with this, I mean, isn't this spirituality? Spirituality, if you actually break it down, keeping meditation, keeping asanas and yoga, everything aside, that is where you get the energy or the power from. What are you going to do with that power that you gain from meditation? You're not a sannyasin. You're not going to retrieve into some caves. You're not going to go into the mountains and leave everything. That is very easy to do. But the real thing is, once you gain the power from whatever you realize through your meditation or dhyana or whatever, you need to take that power and do something in the real world that people can also be benefited from. That is spirituality. So that's what I've understood over a point of time. Like, because even I had these thoughts, oh, let me leave everything, let me just go to Himalayas. Because you start stumbling across all these books, let it be by Osho or let it be Sadhguru, all of these people you start reading about, and I'm like, oh, what a beautiful life. Let me also leave everything. Let me just go. Let me go to these caves and meditate there. But nothing. Once you go there, you can't escape your mind. You can't escape your thoughts. You can't escape what you wanted to do. So you want to do something from that. You do meditation so that you gain some power from it, so that you can put that focus into something you're doing into your real life. That's what I realized. But that is spirituality in a nutshell. Now, Weekend Cafe began in 2020 just as a cafe, like I said, but later on we realized that there is a purpose over here. What we are trying to do, or what we try to do through the Weekend Cafe, is that everything that you find in vegetarian or non-vegetarian foods, let it be your burgers or let it be your pizzas or whatever it is, we have been innovating and trying to research from the last 4 years, even plant-based meat. Because at the end of the day, the reason people want to consume certain foods is for the taste. It's not because they want to kill an animal. It's not because they want to harm their bodies. But we are so used to taste. That's the world, or that's the age that we are living in. So that's what we realized. And instead of asking people to directly shift from vegetarian or non-vegetarian foods to eating salads or eating fruits, nobody's going to do that. They're highly likely to go back to what they were eating before than even pursue. They'll get fed up of it. I don't want to eat this anymore. Or, so that's exactly why we even started the place where we can create foods that will help people slowly transition. Because now you start having a plant-based diet. Let it be with millets or let it be with quinoa, whatever you have. Let it be your just fruits, vegetables. How long are you going to sustain that? Because the conditioning that we are brought up with, the foods that you have been eating, the foods that you have been craving, the food that the taste buds have been used to, they don't go away so easily. Though you have a realization, you do not have any foundation to be able to pursue that. So that's exactly why we wanted to meet people on their level, where still people are craving foods. People are still craving for certain foods. So we wanted to do that, and we wanted to meet people there. So that's why whatever we are trying to do is based around that. We also have plans in the future where we want to launch another brand called Powered by Plants, which is going to cater towards whole food plant-based. Because these foods are just to help you transition from one thing to the other. But after transitioning to the other side, you also need to be able to sustain that food as well. Because these foods, pizzas, burgers, wraps, and all these things, nobody's going to eat it every day. These are just transitory products or transitory dishes that you can have once as you're transitioning. Once you transition on your day-to-day basis, where are you going to get your nutrition from? Where are you going to get your protein from? Where are you going to get your carbohydrates, fiber, all of these things? So that's the mission or the purpose that we have, and that's what we are going to go ahead and do. So that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, you can please go ahead. Yeah. Why plant-based food? Why plant-based food? Because we are nature. We are nature. We are born out of nature. So anything that is available naturally is in line with yourself. It's very simple. Just if you eat Lay's, or like if you eat dairy milk or something like that, and if you eat an apple, the way you react, there's a huge difference. There's a lot of emotional difference in the body. There's a lot of physical difference in the body. One is going to lead you to something that is where you might end up in the hospital later on, and one is going to make you feel more lighter and more lighter throughout the day. So there's a lot of difference. So that's why plant-based food, because it's more in line with the way you can digest food and the way you can react emotionally. So that's why plant-based food. Yeah.
So everyone in the gym feel like in order to build a muscular, body, we need to have chicken or eggs. That's where we get the protein from. So what is the answer for that?
So I think protein is the most overrated thing, because even I was there. I used to eat a lot of chicken, but very less fiber. Fiber, I used to get it from the regular curries and all of these dals at home that people were making. But I feel in plant-based food, the amino acid profile is very different. So you need to be able to combine different, like for example, if you have brown rice and chickpeas, or if you have, like if you just even forget about all that, if you look at what the varieties that plant foods have, let it be even fruits or vegetables, there are much more compared than what non-vegetarian foods have to offer. So it's about getting different things together onto your plate. The plate has to look colorful. So if the plate is looking colorful, that's how you're going to feel inside as well. And coming to protein, you have many concentrated protein sources also in plant-based food, like you have tofu. But the thing is, the ratio of the protein is to carbs or the protein is to fat ratio is very different. Like if you take 100 grams of chickpeas, you might get about 10 to 12 grams of protein, and the rest of it is like carbohydrates. So what you have to do is that you have to plan your meals in a certain way where the ratio of the protein and carbs and fat is interlinked, and that's exactly how you can make complete protein. So it takes some time to research, it takes some time to understand some people might be allergic to soy, some people might be allergic to nuts. So how are you going to navigate through that? So all these things, it's a complicated answer, but it's not so complicated because everybody's body is different. So they have to see what matters to them and what they can do about it. So yeah.
So I have a question here. So when you converted into vegan, so how were you able to handle the cravings? Yes, when anyone starts to be a vegan, they understand the pain behind it, but still they wanted to do it. But how one should handle their cravings?
I think that's the whole point of the cafe. So when I turned, so I wouldn't say I turned vegan at once. I turned plant-based. So dairy took some time because I like my mother's coffee. So my mother's coffee was like a sentiment. So it was made with dairy. So it took some time to come out of that. But I completely quit meat and poultry and all of that. But that took a little bit of time. So how did I control my cravings? How did I control my cravings, or what did I look for?
It's not like a control. How would you ever able to change it, make a change in your day-to-day life?
It was tough. So I think in the very initial stages when I came out of consuming all these foods, I was still in that, I would say, spiritual high, where I was still trying to understand how my body is feeling. I was hell-bent on getting protein first because I was having eggs, because I was having chicken and everything every day, about 6 to 5 eggs every day, like that. My diet was very messed up earlier. And I used to look good outside, but inside I used to feel very crappy. I used to not feel so good inside. So the whole, at least for 1 year, actually for 6 months, it took my body to even understand what it needed and what it required to be able to function better. So I think you lose weight when you get there, but at the same time, you find like a good path. But through that time, I did not have any cravings. The cravings started after like 6 months or something like that, when suddenly I realized I like KFC's burger. Like there was a burger, I think it's still there. There was a Zinger burger from KFC, which I used to really like earlier. And that's when I thought like, where am I going to get this? Where can I get this burger? And when I looked into the market, there was nothing. So that was one of the main reasons why we started off. So we have a burger in our cafe right now called the Crispy W Burger, which actually I've taken inspiration from KFC's burger. So that's what made me even start the cafe, where I could satiate my own cravings first. Then I saw that, okay, people also like this, so let me sell this. So yeah, that's how it began.
When you become vegan, so what are the changes you started to observe mentally, like the way you think, the way you interact with people, or how you interact with the world? How did you find changes? Any changes happened with?
Like I said, right, like you start everyone, you want everyone talk like you. You want everyone to act like how you're acting. You want them to be calm. That doesn't doesn't work like that.
Did you find yourself calm?
Yeah, very,
You
very
found
much.
it?
I found my, more than mentally, I think it was physically, I was very light. I was feeling light. But I think the mental realization began after yoga began. I was able to connect because yoga is literally yoga, it's like mind, body, soul. So they connect together. Before there was no connection. My body was feeling good. But later on, when I started going deeper into it, like he asked about how were you controlling your cravings, that's more to do with this than with this. Because we want to satiate some emotion or something that we have associated with the craving earlier. Let it be with your friends or family or whatever it is. So how do you satiate that? So that had more to do with the mind. So after yoga entered, then I was able to control and react and have my emotions more in balance. Then I was able to control my cravings also better. So actually both the questions are related. So
And the way you connect with nature and animals, how did it change when you become vegan? Do you
I've
find any big change the way you see the world? You can empathize with or anything you find?
yeah, I think I've always been empathetic even before that. Not specifically towards animals, but even like people. But though I might not come across like a person who empathizes with people or who is soft, but I always used to have that soft corner inside, but I never used to show it. Even now, I don't think I show it as much as a lot of people do. Like when they see a dog, hey, chi 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 dog, like, I don't still do that, but I'm indifferent. Like I still have that empathy, but I don't show it towards animals and everything. But I definitely am against hurting animals. If I see that, then I take a stand for it. Like I'm very vocal or physical like that. But I'm not empathetic in the sense I'm not so soft towards animals as such. But if he's someone doing something to animals, then I get enraged. Then I'm like, how dare you do this? Like, that comes out, that side comes out. But it's not like, oh, doggy, not like that. But animals and everything, then I'm indifferent towards animals. Like they're just another life, respect their space. That's it. I don't need to hurt them. Neither am I going to take if anybody hurts them too. So, yeah, it's been the same, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. I do body weight strength training. In fact, we teach yoga and body weight strength training together. But I don't lift weights anymore. No. No weights. I don't lift. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Do you recommend or not? Like whether
I don't recommend lifting weights.
why so?
Because lifting weights is, so that I understood through yoga, there's a lot of prana that is lost when you're lifting weights. And to compensate the prana that is lost through lifting weights, you have to overeat again. So a lot of time earlier was spent in compensating the energy that was leaving the body when I was lifting weights. When now I just do how much is required from my body. I don't overdo it. So that also comes from an egoistic perspective. Earlier I wanted to look good. I wanted to look strong. Now I want to feel strong inside. So earlier I was definitely bigger. I was about 90 kgs or 86 kgs. I was having a lot of muscle. I was very well built and everything. But I'm much more leaner. But I know I'm stronger. But I was soft inside. Though my body was looking strong outside because of lifting weights, I was very soft inside. But what yoga does is that it creates a sense of strength from within, where it also will be reflected outside through your other practices that you do, but you don't really need to lift weights. So I'm not really an advocate of lifting weights now, but I lifted weights for 10 years. But right now I just feel like it's very exhausting and tiring. And it's a lot of time waste. Body weight strengthening or practice of yoga, it's like 45 minutes, very simple, just in and out. Earlier 1.5 hours, 2 hours was spent in just that. So
This is your personal experience, right?
Personal
Yeah. So, what if somebody wants to continue?
yeah.
So, what do you recommend for them? Like, do you agree? I mean, do you suggest them to do it? Yeah, just.
Yeah, I mean, you will figure it out by yourself. But I mean, if you have like a spiritual practice also, like if you're into meditation or something like that, you will also see how it affects your spine too when you're lifting weights, when you're sitting for meditation. Because that's what I observed a lot. So when you're lifting weights, So let it be deadlifts or let it be other exercises that you perform with weights, it really affects the curvature of your spine. So when you're sitting for meditation, it really affects it. So I observed all these small things. I went in and out of weightlifting for a long time. But my body was like rejecting it, like it's just not working out, leave it. So that's when I found strength also through practicing asanas. So in fact, the program that we teach right now is also called Strength Through Asana, where we do asanas but for a more number of repetitions. So that also builds strength, but it doesn't give you that hypertrophy that lifting weights does. So yeah.
Can we build muscle through yoga?
Absolutely, yes. But don't do just asanas. You can also include body weight strength training to it. Like let it be push-ups, let it be Hindu push-ups or Hanuman Dand or something like that. These really help build your muscle as well. But the thing is that strength that is built through this doesn't leave you. The strength that is built through weights leaves you. Because it's external. Anything external you build, it'll leave. So that's what my personal experience is. But you can pursue it till it leaves automatically. Like, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, like, I have a doubt, like, where, the point of becoming veganism is, the violence towards the animals. Where in the villages, like, they are not treat animals as, like, how industries treat. Like, they are not slaughtered, the babies are not taken it out, and they are not, like, artificially impregnated. So, like, when I have become vegan, sorry, like, going to the villages, like my grandma or my mama used to say, no, it is not like how cities are treat, they worship, they pray and they take out milk after the babies have, are, rank. So, how, like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, is that okay? It is not, as it is violence free, or like it's still violating the rules of veganism? Like, how?
So, I mean, if you're talking about if it's violating the rules of veganism, then definitely it is. But from a natural perspective, from where we have evolved from, I do not think veganism was prevalent that time when people used to worship cows and everything. But now, I think understanding that we do not require milk to thrive, you don't need to consume milk. But if people are doing it as a cultural practice and traditionally they are consuming it, then it's okay. I mean, up to them. I am not going to go and tell them don't do this. Like for example, I always give this example. If you go to Goa, the people on the beaches or the shores, their main occupation is fishing. If you're going to go and ask them stop fishing, they're going to slap you, right? Of course, you can't take their occupation away from them. But the problem over here are the industries. So the industries are the main problem. They're creating a huge ecological balance. Even we come from hunter and gatherers. We used to hunt and we used to gather food. So back then there was never a problem. There was no imbalance in the ecology. Right now there is an imbalance because of the factories. Like people are putting such big nets in the center of the ocean and fishing, and the fish, the species that even they don't require, they're killing them just for the species they want. So there's so much of ecological imbalance over there. So that's the main problem over here. The problem is not consuming milk, or the problem is not consuming fishes or fish. The problem is the practice of farming them. That's the main thing. So if you're talking about if it's violating the rules of veganism, then yes. But if is it violating the rules of nature? Then no. Because like they said, it's giving milk after it's consuming, the calves are consuming. Maybe they're treating the cow with love, and the cow realizes that even they're my family, and that's why it produces milk. So I don't have a stand over there. I'm neutral. I'm not saying I support that, neither do I don't support it. I'm neutral over there. But if it is violating the rules of veganism, then yes.
Okay, it's completely there, one's choice.
It's one's choice. We can't force anybody. We can just tell them. So
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
that's it.
Any more questions? I hope all your doubts got cleared. You can ask any question, guys. It's not that I have to ask the correct question. And also, the dairy industry has, advertised so much that it said that like, dairy is really important for the bones.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask this question, how if I develop calcium deficiency? So yeah, these are the questions I get.
Yeah.
So what is the answer to that?
I think most of these nutritional deficiencies, like from like an aerial, like let's say like a spiritual perspective, a lot of these things also arise from stress. A lot of deficiencies in the body. They also arise from stress. They also arise from unnatural practices, unnatural screen time, unnatural amounts of time on social media. A lot of the deficiencies in the bodies, they also come from not being able to spend enough time out in the nature. So I make sure that it's a practice for me to be able to spend time in the nature. So I think if you feel any deficiencies are there naturally, because if you see like 50 years, 60 years back, people who lived, maybe they had deficiencies, but they used to live like such long lives, like till 80 or something like 85, but they were fit, they were still doing this thing. They never followed a balanced diet. They never did anything. They did not have any deficiencies because their entire day was spent out in the farms. Their days were spent out in the nature. They were doing so many other works. They never took any supplements or tablets and all of these things. And I think one of the main reasons why we're also feeling deficient is because we are losing touch with nature. We're giving too much of importance to these labels also. Like even we are having the word, we're having to call it vegan is because we need to help people to educate, to help make them aware. But if you go beyond that, we are also losing touch with ourselves. We are also losing touch with nature. So I think when people become more aware and get more in touch with nature, I think a lot of these deficiencies and also can be cleared out is what my personal feeling is. Because I don't really take so many supplements and so many tablets and everything. I feel like when I'm out in the sun, when I'm breathing fresh air, I feel a lot of that gets sorted out by itself. That's just my personal experience. I don't take calcium, I don't take any of these supplements, I don't take anything.
We have to go out in the nature, do grounding
Yeah.
on daily basis.
And set your biological cycle. Sleep
Yes.
early, wake up early. I think that will because if you are sleeping at 1 o'clock, your body cannot absorb the nutrition from the food. So even the food you're eating is good, your body cannot assimilate or take the nutrients from the food and give it to the organs and the systems in the body. So if you're sleeping early and if you're waking up early, you're setting yourself with the nature, the nutrition can be absorbed better by the body. So if you're sleeping at 1 o'clock, the body doesn't know what to do. It'll excrete the nutrition out of the body. So
Yes.
that's what I feel as well.
I guess I'm not the right person to talk about it then.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We often like sleep late, right? Because of the
Yeah.
schedules and all. And even the
yeah.
corporates have designed it in such a way. There are night shifts. They are also a big, reason for us, our biological clock to get disturbed, maybe.
Yeah. So
So, any more questions? Nice.
Which plant-based food contains B12, B12?
B12, I think everything contains B12. But so again, like the same thing, like there is no concentrated thing like it contains B12 or doesn't. I think every plant contains B12. Everything contains everything. That's the thing. You have to get different things together. So for example, if you're eating just dal and rice, you will not get enough nutrition from that because in the nature, in the plants, even dal will also have B12. But the amount of B12 it might have compared to mushroom is different. Everything will have D also, K, all of these things. But the thing is that the proportions of the ratios are very, very different. So get different things together. So if you're having dal and rice, add few nuts to it, have some fiber to it, add a little bit of say coconut oil to it or something like that. If you're making your meal like that and colorful, then I think you will be sorted. But again, that depends upon your energy output also. If you're a sports person, what is your lifestyle? Are you running? Do you play a lot of sports? How active are you? So a lot of those things are dependent upon that as well. So I think nutrition is there in everything. All the vitamins and minerals are there in everything, but the ratios of it are very, very different from one thing to the other. So get different things together. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't even have to be tofu and all these things. It can be very basic, chickpeas, rajma and everything, but get different plants, nuts and everything together and then complete the meal. and sleep early, wake up early. I think that is the most important thing, because you can absorb the nutrition from the food. That is very, very important. So yeah, thank you. Let's see. Someone is raising.
That moment where you realize that the thing, the food plate, it has a dead body in it.
Yeah.
What made you realize that in that moment? What made you realize that? Because we want that to happen with a lot of people.
Yeah, so that was, I think, fear. So let's take a few minutes, but good question. I like that story. What led there? Because just before I realized that there was a dead body on my plate, 1 month before that, or couple of months, I had a lot of fear inside of me that was surfacing. There was a lot of fear that was coming out, which made me feel like I was saying, I was strong from the outside. I was lifting weights that time. And then, but inside, I was scared. I don't know what I was scared about, but I was scared inside. Maybe that led to that journey of awakening or whatever it is. So there was a lot of fear coming up and surfacing. And I didn't know where that fear was coming from, why was it surfacing and everything. And suddenly, I started meditating. I don't know how did I start or how did I even get into meditation, because never was introduced to any meditation of any kind. I just closed my eyes and I just sat, and there was this one practice that I came across, which was Osho's dynamic meditation, which I came across, and I did that without any supervision, nothing. Because in 2018, there was this Netflix documentary called Wild Wild Country that released of Osho's. I watched that and I saw them do dynamic meditation in that. And this was all in that fear stage where I was shutting down. When I saw that, I wanted to try that out, because you can see people, they are in blissed out states in that. And I'm like, okay, let me try this dynamic meditation, whatever this is. And I did that. That's when I had this sudden realization about like things. And I came back home and then I slept. Then I woke up in the morning at lunchtime. Then I realized that there was a dead body. So I think that was the beginning. So that was the reason what led to that. But it did not have any ground to it, any foundation. That meditation did not have any foundation. It was very irregulated. I didn't do any asana, pranayam, nothing along with that. But that led me to yoga later. So, yeah.
The path which you took was pretty unique. It may not happen with everyone, right?
Yeah.
So what do you suggest, like how to make people aware or become awake, and where they start seeing not as food, but as a dead body? So what is the other way, more organic, and which we can suggest and implement and practice?
I think the other ways, like people are doing, right? Like they're showing, I think the other ways is to just show videos of animals being killed, because that's the level of insensitivity that we have right now, where we want everything visual. Because people can only see the chicken that is sold in the supermarkets, but they don't know where it comes from. So I think to be able to show people videos, because in this age where even everything is regulated, like the social media and all these things, but like they do it in the UK, where they have these streets where PETA or all of these other they show videos to people like how animals are killed and everything. I think over here we can do that, but there's a lot of rowdyism involved. Whatever we're doing over here, all the poultries and everything are, owned by rowdies, and all the dairy industries are regulated. So I think we have to resort to such practices to be able to wake people up, because they're in such extreme of insensitivity. We have to meet them there. So I think that's what I feel. So we have to meet them people where they are. We can't be soft with them and be like, try meditation, and then you will be able to realize one day that you can become vegan. That meditation is something I feel can sustain that power. But I think like a sudden thing, we can show people about how exactly an animal is tortured or killed. And I think that's when people can even get it into their minds. And I think people love movies. We are in India. So I think a lot of people can even go towards documentation of it and showing it to people in like mainstream cinema. Because in mainstream cinema, I don't think people will allow this. I don't even know, because it's so regulated. So I think if you show things like that, for which a lot of people have to come together, then maybe I think people can realize. That's what I feel.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry? My cafe? Any question about it? Time's up? Okay. But I'll just answer Papam. I started off the cafe with the main intention to help or allow people to transition from all these foods to vegan or plant-based foods. There's a lot of things. I had to do everything by myself, right from social media to cleaning the floors and washing the dishes. I had to go through the entire. Actually, my spiritual journey is directly related to that because I understood the dignity of labor over there. I started to understand how to treat people, so many other things, which was like a hotel management spiritual course by itself for 4 years. So that's what I had to go through to be able to, yeah. So I think in short, I can say that much.
Please do visit the cafe.
Yeah.
Then maybe you will, and your answers will be cleared. You will enjoy the food for sure because I always go to that cafe whenever I feel like going. So that's all about plant-based diet. Thank you so much, Vikas, for accepting our request. I
Thank you
hope
for
in
this
the given. Yeah,
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And hope to see you guys again.
yeah. We want more of your sessions.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have to leave because my
Yeah,
business is
sure.
waiting for me. So have to go there. But thanks a lot for this opportunity. And thanks a lot for coordinating all of this. And I hope we all can go towards a better world soon. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vikas. So that was all about plant-based diet. I hope most of your questions got cleared. Yes? Okay. So in the morning we were... You're leaving, okay. Just a second. We have a... So we planned a small present from our side. Yeah, he has given a lot of wisdom for us. We can't match the value of it, but it's just a reminder that it will be there with you. Yeah, please. You also join.